So as many of you guys know, the Packers schedule was released last night. I made a video on it, sort of giving my initial quick thoughts on it. I hadn't really looked into like the home games versus away games, how much rest the Packers would have, all those different kinds of things. So this morning I came across an article from Packers Wire. They have lots of great articles constantly on their site. And they basically broke down that apparently the Packers have a very, very notable rest disadvantage coming into the 2022 season as compared to every other team. And I don't really think it's the end of the world, but it is sort of something interesting to point out. So I'm going to go through some of this article here on PackersWire.com. So first off, scrolling down to right here, he says, according to, let me give a shout out, Zach Kruse is who wrote this article. According to Seth Walder of ESPN, the Packers are minus 13 days in net rest differential relative to opponents, which ranks as the worst mark in the NFL for 2022. So obviously some team had to have the worst rest disadvantage, so it happens to be the Packers. And then here are some of the biggest ones right here. So they say the schedule is filled with disadvantages for the Packers. In Week 7, the Packers play the Commanders, who play on Thursday night in Week 6, minus 3 days rest. In Week 8, the Packers play the Bills, who have a bye week in Week 7, minus 7 days rest. So the Bills have, an extra week to prepare, I guess. In Week 10, the Packers play the Cowboys, who have a bye in Week 9. So the Cowboys have a little head start. In Week 16, the Packers play the Dolphins after playing on Monday night the week prior, minus 1, not huge. And then in Week 17, the Packers play the Vikings, who play on Saturday in Week 16, minus 1 day rest. Then they say the Packers also play the Jets just 7 days after playing the Giants in London, so they don't have a bye after going to London. They play right after that. So that is a lot of travel for the Packers, which will require a grueling transatlantic flight there and back. We already pointed out that the Packers will then play 5 of their next 7 games on the road, including a 3-game road trip after facing the Jets at home. So the middle part of the schedule with 3 days with 3 rest disadvantages in the span of 4 weeks added in looks especially challenging from a logistical standpoint. And I feel like one thing, like if you're not thinking too much about, the NFL season, all the games, you forget that like these teams have to travel a lot. I came across some kind of graphic in the past month, and it basically showed the miles that teams would have to travel. And I think the most a team has to travel is like 26,000 miles. And then I think the lowest was like the Steelers at like 6,000 miles. So some teams are having to, spend a lot more time flying around, which I guess probably does have an impact on, how rested you are, all those different kinds of things. But at the end of the day, I don't think it necessarily matters. The Packers may have it a little harder when it comes to that scenario, but, I feel like that gives them, that much more of a reason to be like, you know what? We have the worst rest disadvantage. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. We'll come out and perform anyways. I feel like that's what's going to happen. Maybe it has a slight effect, but I think the Packers will be A-okay. But there is, I'd say, one positive when we do look at this schedule. And if we take a look here at their schedule here, it's on Packers.com, 3 of our final 4 games are at home. So even though there is that middle stretch of lots of road games, lots of travel, some disadvantages when it comes to, how much rest the other team had before the game. If we look here, starting in December, so December 19th, Week 15, we play the Rams at Lambeau Field. That should be an amazing game. That's Monday Night Football. That will be amazing. Then Week 16, we play and we have a bye week right before that game, before the Rams. So that's a great scenario there for the Packers to have that bye that late in the season after having all those, road games. So Rams at home, Week 15. Week 16, we do go to Miami on Christmas Day. And then Week 17 and 18, we finish it off with playing the Vikings at home on Sunday, Week 17. And then Week 18, we play at Lambeau Field as well. So with us, I expect the Packers to make the playoffs. I feel like most people would. If they don't, that would be very unfortunate. But with me expecting them to make the playoffs, to have 2 final games at home, they don't have to travel as much. They don't have to go anywhere. They get to stay there, rest. Hopefully we can get that, 1 week bye again, because I think that's always nice to have a week to rest. We will have 2 final games, 2 final home games. So the final stretch is great, and I think that's what matters the most as we prepare for the playoffs. So even though there is that grueling stretch in the middle, I think the Packers will be just fine. But I thought that was an interesting thing to point out when you sort of go deeper into this schedule. So just wanted to share that. But that is all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys haven't subscribed, consider subscribing if you guys enjoy this kind of content. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.